Привет!
Привет!
This is Zoya
Amelia и Кот.
Ikot. Our presentation on the Sami people. These are other ways to pronounce and spell it from Norway and Sweden. And they are the indigenous people of Sampi, which is their traditional land.
So this is our song that we chose. It is a traditional yoik song. And it is by Niels Ovla Dunfill. And it is called in English Ancient Forces. And this is the Sami flag. We'll play a little sneak peek. All right, so the English lyrics of this song are ancient forces, ancient dreams, living thoughts, living hopes. We will not surrender, we will not disappear.
And this song was posted to YouTube in 2011 and it has gained a lot of popularity. It is traditional Sami yoke chanting, which is also mixed with modern rock influences. And the song pretty much is just explaining how the Sami have been colonized and have experienced cultural suppression throughout recent centuries. And yeah, just saying that they will not surrender, they will not give up, they will keep fighting for their land and their culture. Okay, and this is a picture of the Sami people a while back, like I think in the early 19th century, and then this is a more modern photo with a reindeer. And a little bit of background, the Sami are Russia's smallest minority, just around, I think around 6,000 people. And they have been concentrated around the settlement of Lovosro and neighboring villages, which I think is around a peninsula. Kola Peninsula. And they are the descendants of nomadic people who traveled throughout northern Scandinavia, and the Finns were in southern Scandinavia, and they traveled upwards and then dispersed the Sami people throughout the entire region around 100 AD. And now they have been confined only to the northern area of Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Russia. And then from the 18th and especially the 19th century, the governments of all the Scandinavian countries basically tried to assert more sovereignty over the land, claiming it as their own, and were pushing the Sami people out. And then the Sami eventually ended up going through the entire colonization process of being pushed into more Scandinavian cultures. And then this is a picture of everybody that is in the Sami parliament, which is their form of tribal government. And then it takes place in northern Norway. And then this is a picture of the building, basically the parliament. And it first opened in 1989. And they deal with all matters concerning Sami people throughout the entire region. And indigenous leaders in Russia have occasionally tried to push for rights to their land and culture overall, and the Russian government has pretty much just rejected all claims. And yeah, there's been no serious discussion from the Russian government whatsoever to adopt the ILO Indigenous and Tribal People Convention, which is basically just like a rule book of rights that indigenous people should be granted. And the majority of the border conflicts in Russia concern reindeer hunting and the illegal act of people doing it who aren't Sami people, because they're technically the only ones that have rights to be doing reindeer hunting. And then back in the, I guess currently and back in the 19th century, Scandinavian countries periodically tried to assimilate the Sami people by barring all cultural and language uses in public spaces and schools. Yeah.
Okay, so for Sami geography, the Sami span across Norway, Sweden, Finland, and the Kola Peninsula in Russia, which is around here. And the Kola Peninsula in Russia's Murmansk Oblast is far northwest of Russia. They used to range further south, but they were pushed northward by settlers. And right now, Sami people cover around 150,000 square miles. And there's an estimated 70,000 Sami people today. About 40,000 live in Norway, 20,000 in Sweden, 6,000 in Finland, and 2,000 in Russia. And Murmansk is the largest city of the Sami, and population is about 250,000. It is an ice-free port on the Barents Sea, which is over here, and it's a key Arctic shipping hub. This is Murmansk. So, the climate of the Sami is subarctic and Arctic climate, and they have long, harsh winters and very short and cool summers. The winter temperatures go from about -4 degrees Fahrenheit to about -22 degrees Fahrenheit, and the summer temperatures range from 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The land is very rich in nickel, copper, apatite, iron ore, and other earth minerals, and the Barents Sea, which is over here, is very rich in fishing for cod, haddock, and herring, and this is what winters usually look like. So, for the culture of the Sami, they are the only indigenous people living in Europe, and their traditional way of life is very spiritual, reflecting around nature, animals, seasonal cycles, and for their religion, they have animistic beliefs, which they view nature as alive and spiritual, and spirits were believed to inhabit features like mountains, lakes, and animals. The Sami languages are related to Finnish, Estonian, and Hungarian, and there's several distinct Sami languages, some being the Kildin Sami, which is the main language of the Sami, and it's spoken in the Kola Peninsula around Russia, the Skolt Sami, which is spoken in parts of Russia and Finland, and Northern Sami, which is the most widely spoken Sami language, mainly in Norway, Sweden, Russian, but it's not common, in Finland, it's not common in Russia. The language is very endangered, as is most indigenous languages, due to the Russification policies and assimilation under the Soviet Union. So, gakti is the traditional clothing made by the Sami, and as you can see here, it often features bright colors like blues and reds, and also yellow and green, and the patterns represent a family or a region that the person came from. And as we mentioned before, yoke is the chanting and singing of the Sami people. It's often dedicated to a singular person, place, or animal, and it evokes their essence rather than describing the place or the person or the animal itself. And modern artists blend it with folk, rock, pop, electronic, etc. And for some entertainment, the Sami do reindeer herding, which is deeply cultural. It has been a tradition for long time, and it's also now a festivities and community gatherings activity. And same thing with sledding and skiing. While it was historically practical, now it's more in competitions and festivals. Ice fishing and hunting has always been a vital way of life for the Sami, and such festivals that the Sami celebrate are Sami National Day, which is February 6th, and other local reindeer herding and hunting competitions.
And this is all of the sources we use. This is I think it's a picture of traditional fishing tool that they use to catch fish. Right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, добрий день.